INFOWARS and Alex Jones have been hit by almost every media outlet on social media possible. They've been hit by Facebook. They've been hit by YouTube. They've been hit by Apple, Spotify, LinkedIn. They've even been hit by Amazon, Discuss, and more. And it's simply mind-blowing to me. And I'm going to bring Owen Schroyer on, who a lot of you guys know from INFOWARS, and we're going to talk about a lot of these different topics that are going on, because I literally see this myself as an attack on the freedom of speech. And Owen, you actually said something earlier on the show that you just completed that actually caught my attention very much. And you said if the Joker, I think, and was it the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the Joker, or the Green Goblin, if they conspired to shoot up a school, like, why can't you actually say that on social media? And I thought that was a great point. And now you're on air with me live. So what in the hell is going on over there, dude?
Well, give me some shelter here as we're rocking and rolling to the Stones. Me and you need to get together and rock sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me shelter somewhere here on the internet. They don't want us to exist on the platforms that receive about 90% of the web traffic. Of course, that's Facebook, Google, YouTube. If you look at Spotify, if you look at Apple, if you look at even Twitter, where we're shadow banned, they still at least allow us to exist there. It's about 90% of the web traffic to those platforms that they want to erase us from. So our platform just has to get bigger by default. But, you know, just real quick to provide a little more context to what you were saying about the Green Goblin, what I was talking about was in reference to the Sandy Hook situation, where Alex Jones gets attacked relentlessly. I get attacked. INFOWARS gets attacked for the Sandy Hook coverage. And forget about what Alex Jones said or didn't say. Just think about it like what you were just saying. If I want to come on air and say that Bugs Bunny conspired with Batman and the Kool-Aid Man to shoot up a school and to blame it on Adam Lanza, then that's my right. That's my free speech right. I don't care how out there it is. That is my free speech right. It doesn't matter who I offend. It doesn't matter who claims it's hateful. That's free speech. The First Amendment doesn't exist to protect speech we agree with. It exists to protect speech we disagree with and that we might even find hateful. That's the point of the First Amendment. And it's just amazing now. Huffington Post just published a headline. I can't even believe this, and I almost don't even want to talk about it before talking with our lawyers and Alex. But Huffington Post is claiming that we're trying to dox the Sandy Hook families. I mean, so they relentlessly attack us on this one story. But the whole thing is, Outlaw Morgan, what they do is they want to create this image of us. They portray us as less than human. They portray us as immoral. They portray us as liars. So then the general population that has never heard of Alex Jones, never listened to an Alex Jones show, never heard of me, already has that propaganda in their head, already has that in their subconscious. We're immoral, we're bad, so they don't care if we censor us. And then for the other people that are paying attention, they point to the scarecrow Fox News and they say, look, they're going to ban Fox News. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're going to ban Fox News. And then they say, all right, we won't ban Fox News. And then everyone says, oh, thank God. But meanwhile, while all the hubbubaloo was going on about will they ban Fox News, they stopped INFOWARS and squashed us into the dirt. But nobody noticed because precious Fox News may have gotten censored. So it's really about free speech. It's not about Alex Jones. It's not about Owen Schroyer. It's not even about Outlaw Morgan. You've been censored as well. We've covered that before. Yeah. It's about free speech. And it's sad to me that I get no media inquiries from mainstream news outlets. Instead, I get Outlaw Morgan, who's a patriot, to ask me to come on. I get Jesse Lee Peterson, who's a patriot, to ask me to come on. I get Will Johnson. You only get alternative media who's in this together to stand up for free speech.
Well, you know, the thing is you guys have had me on your show, and you've had me on your show when you found out that I was shut down on Facebook. So, you know, here's the thing. I can't sit by idly and watch this happen. I mean, because here's where I stand with the whole ordeal. I don't give a fuck what you guys have said. You know what I mean? I honestly don't care. You know, when you shut down one man's voice, you shut down every man's voice. And that's basically what I'm watching happen right now all across the internet. I've been shut down twice. Luckily, I got my page back. Now they're shadow banning the shit out of me, dude. So it's like I'm losing followers by the hundreds. You know what I mean? So I've been in this place. I know exactly how it feels. I know it's very isolating and you feel like you're against a wall. So it's like I can't sit by, regardless of how I feel about the show, regardless of how I feel about anything anybody said. That's irrelevant. It's not the fact that it's not what the man has said. It's the fact that somebody has, and it's been a coup. It was a coordinated effort that they jointly did this together. And if you want to know my honest opinion, bro, if you want to know my honest opinion, if you remember back when Hillary Clinton started screaming fake news, right? Hillary Clinton, back when during the election or whatever, Hillary Clinton started screaming fake news. And instantly, as this was occurring, all of a sudden, Facebook started to crack down on people such as myself. I mean, believe it or not, I used to have an organic reach of 68.6 million. And the exact minute that Hillary Clinton brings this up about fake news, people like myself all of a sudden drop from 68.6 million, who never changed their formula of how I got there, and then all of a sudden gets dropped down to 1.2. And then it's a struggle to get past it. And right now, like I said, currently I am being shadow banned. So if you ask my personal opinion, what I feel like is going on here, I feel like you guys have been under attack basically through CNN. Like the Clintons went through CNN, CNN went through Facebook, and bam, dude. Because what's his name? Andrew Cooper, or whatever that guy's name with CNN, the silver hair guy.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper, the CIA Mockingbird Press. Yep. He
has a show right now with Facebook, and Facebook is paying him for the show. I honestly think this has nothing to do with anything that you guys have said. I think that this is strictly a coup to basically remove you guys because you have such a phenomenal reach. You have devoted, loyal followers, listeners, etc., etc. So I think that this was something that was put in place to strategically have you guys removed, because I used to be able to go live, man, before they hit my thing, and I would have like anywhere from like 12,000 to 23,000 people watching. It was ridiculous, dude. It's honestly, for a guy that's a nobody and I don't really have that big of a reach or whatever, but and CNN probably doesn't ever know what that's felt like. You know what I mean? So I haven't heard something right. And then you got the companies, all these companies are backed by Time Warner. You know what I mean? So I hear you guys saying Chinese a lot, but it seems to me like somehow Time Warner, CNN, and all these companies have figured out a way to get in bed with Facebook, to get in bed with these leftist social media platforms.
Well, and just to let's clear some of this up. The Chinese issue is a separate issue entirely, where they try to distract us in the geopolitical debate with Russia, who's not our enemy. In fact, would be our strongest ally right now. And it's China that's buying or stealing our intellectual property. It's China that buys our debt and then doesn't pay it. It's China that's getting all the precious materials and resources from the South China Sea. It's China that's building islands. It's China that's buying Hollywood. It's China that's getting all this information from the American public via Apple. But that's kind of sitting out there. When you talk about the CNN attack, I think that you're right on about something, but you're half right, because they're not taking us down for what we said in the sense of what they're saying we said. So they're not removing us because we said the word, I can't even say it, I don't want to get your channel banned, but let's just say what they now say is the wrong thing to say about a transsexual. You're not allowed to say that. So they use all of these straw man things to claim that we said this or that we're offensive, and so that's why they have to take us down.
Yeah, well,
but you're right. But you're right, though. That's not it. It's not that we did or didn't say that. That's not why they're taking us down. It's the fact that we said first. We reported right here 2 years ago. It's Barack Obama who was behind the Russian dossier being used to get the FISA warrant. It's Barack Obama who launched the real spy campaign. It's Barack Obama that was behind the witch hunt led by Robert Mueller. We reported that 2 years ago. Now it's about to come out. James Clapper admits it. So it's not about what we said in the sense that they say we said X, Y, and Z. That's why they're banning us. It's about, we told you Trump was going to win when they said Hillary had a 99% chance. We told you Barack Obama was behind Spygate before anybody else told you. We told you that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter were going to censor conservatives to oblivion before anybody else did. That's why they're taking us down. We're the cutting edge. We're tomorrow's news today. They can't control us, and they need that control. That's what it's all about. They can't control Outlaw Morgan. They can't control InfoWars, so they have to shut you down because they have to control the narrative, and they have to control the release and the understanding of information. And if there's other people out there that they can't control, like Alex Jones or Outlaw Morgan, then they have to shut you down and censor you, because the people have to be slaves. They cannot know the truth.
You're 100% right, dude. I have been banned so many times I have had my page taken away from me twice, and all of that basically created a docile outlaw Morgan who now tries to keep it between the lines because God forbid I offend anyone. You know what I mean? So that's really what this is boiled down to. Now, the funny thing is when I lost my page on Facebook, and I know that they're trying to use some of the same language towards you guys, I lost it because of like so-called hate speech. Now, I told someone that actually works for Facebook, I'm like, maybe you guys need to do a video because you actually brought up a very valid point when you said something about someone who's going through the change. Yes? So, like, if that's the case, then maybe they need to give us a video where they actually tell us what's acceptable and what's not. I have actually been recently banned from Facebook and had things removed from Instagram where I made a video that was funny and I was making reference to I don't even know if I can say this anymore. I was making a reference towards saltine products that you crack up and put into your soup. And I was joking saying this term, and it's like a term of endearment for a lot of us, but I got banned for that, dude. So, like, that's actually hate speech. But what's funny to me is people like Lil Pump, people like Tekashi 6ix9ine, and all these people you see on YouTube can run around and say the N-word all day long, and that's not hate speech. And even if a white person was recording a parking lot calling somebody that word and actually meant it to its truest term of how you would use it or whatever, then they go viral and it's not removed from the internet. So what we're actually seeing here, and here's what actually scares me, Owen. What we're actually seeing here is selective. It's extremely selective. And the way that the language is written up about these policies, these guidelines, and these standards, and I have actually proved it myself that they're not universal, and therefore, you know as well as I do, dude, they're hiring professors to actually police the internet for Facebook, etc., etc. The professors are what? Liberal. Extremely liberal. As a matter of fact, most, as you even said, most professors are Antifa. So Antifa and these crazy leftists are watching everything that we're putting out here, right? So they're the ones that are actually policing the internet. They're the ones that are actually deciding what comes up and what goes down. And that's why you are seeing the conservatives get bashed and banned on a daily basis by all the social media platforms. So what's happened to you guys is a stepping stone and a catalyst. I actually think that at some point they're going to do a purge on Facebook and they're going to get rid of just about anybody and everybody. And they're going to say that it was because they were inactive accounts.
Well, they're pretty much already doing that. I've got friends that mirror our broadcast on extra YouTube channels. They're getting banned. They're getting struck. I have people doing the same thing on Facebook. They're getting banned. They're getting hit. So they're already doing that. It may reach the next level sooner than later. I think it just depends on how effective they think it'll be for the midterms. But let's also clarify something that you were just talking about when it comes to hate speech, because you're 100% right. It's not hate speech that they're banning. If it was hate speech that they were banning, all the people that threatened to assassinate Donald Trump would be off Twitter. All the people that make racist comments, honestly, whether it be against white people or black people or any people, they're all over the place on social media, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. They're everywhere. They would be getting banned. They're not. What is the common thread here? It's political. So their whole claim that they're banning people based on quote unquote hate speech is just a cover, really. It's just a veil that they claim it's hate speech, but really we all know what it is. It's about political speech. It's about censoring people they disagree with. Now, why would they feel that way? Why would a bunch of Antifa professors feel like they have to erase people's opinions that disagree with them? Well, because they cannot win in an intellectual debate. That's the key here, Outlaw Morgan. Mm-hmm. They know they can't defeat us in an intellectual debate. They know when we ever actually have discourse or conversations with these people, they get embarrassed and they look like the idiots that they truly are. So their solution is just to erase us off their platforms. And the reason why they keep their terms of service vague, the reason why they keep quote unquote hate speech vague is for that exact reason. So that Outlaw Morgan is sitting here like, why am I getting banned? I don't understand it. I didn't say anything hateful. They don't want you to know. They want you to feel like this whole thing is ambiguous. That's their biggest excuse. So yeah, oh, it's quote unquote hate speech, even though we're very vague about what that is. Sorry, you're censored. Oh, you have any questions? Screw you, Nazi. And so that's how that goes. But here's why I think it's so frustrating. And I'm in a fortunate situation now at INFOWARS because I have Alex Jones that has my back. We have INFOWARS that has 5 million loyal listeners every day. And they have our back. And so you look at Alex Jones and everything he built, 2.5 million subscribers on YouTube, all these millions of subscribers on Apple and everywhere and Twitter and everything, and they just erase it. And so that's one angle there where you say they're just denying Alex Jones's sweat equity. They're not even allowing Alex Jones to profit and to continue to build what he created. I mean, you look at yourself. Here's Outlaw Morgan, a guy who decides, I've got some things that I'd like to say. I'm creative. I'm going to create a channel. And wow, I did it. Oh my gosh, people actually like what I have to say. This is shocking. I'm going to up my value. I'm going to up my content. I'm going to up my quality. I'm going to get a new speaker. I'm going to get a new microphone. I'm going to get a new monitor. I'm going to make this the real deal. People like this. So then you build it and you put your sweat equity into something, counting that your own creativity and your own ability is going to deliver in the end. That's what the free market capitalist system is all about. And then they wipe you off the map. They say, oh, all that hard work that Outlaw Morgan put into getting millions of fans on social media, screw him. We're fascists here at Facebook. We're Nazis here. We want to erase him. That hard work he did to create a platform, screw him. We'll rip the rug right out from under him. And then the same people are going to go out in the streets and claim they're anti-fascist when everything you're talking about with Apple and Facebook and Google and YouTube and the list goes on, they're all colluding like fascists to censor free speech. That's fascism. That's antitrust lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah. I mean, this has literally gotten to the point that what I feel like I'm witnessing is communism unfolding right in front of me. This is and you said it yourself. When you have the reach that the network has that Alex has worked on. And again, for me, it's not about the message. I mean, honestly, I was live the other night, and I was live with a different gentleman, and I asked him, I said, look, I want to know what laws have been broken here. I want to know what did Alex do that was thoroughly against the law? Like, what is there a chargeable offense here? Because if there's not a chargeable offense here, I'm falling short on understanding why he could just be erased from the internet. And you're absolutely right. Like, they're literally wiping his identity completely offline. And I thank God for Twitter, right? And I'll put this up on the screen right quick, because I know Jack Dorsey is enduring a lot of BS right now. I mean, dude, VOX, Vox, whatever this network is, I was reading their article and they're like, this guy's on the wrong side of history. He's going down the wrong path. This moment of reckoning and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy shit, do you guys even hear yourselves, man? Because, this is, thank God for Jack Dorsey. And I hope he holds the line, man, because he actually said in his own words, they have not broken our policies. But the problem with everybody else is it's become a feeling thing, right? Like, so now it's about my feelings. I don't know. How's it feel? And like I'll ask this, who's policing this, dude? You know what I mean? And we already know who's policing it. The professors, the liberal leftists that work at Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. I know somebody that works at Facebook is a Trump supporter, and they're terrified to even speak to people that they work with because they're scared they're going to get attacked. So if you're telling Mark Zuckerberg, who went before Congress and actually said, not under oath, that he wants to follow the EU model, and that should raise awareness to anybody, that should raise suspicion to anyone, that should actually make you feel afraid. Because here's the thing, and again, I revert back to the whole Joker and Green Goblin thing, because that is at the bottom line, that's the truth. So what if somebody said it? You know what I mean? Like, so what? But now we're at a point where basically they're going to use this as the stepping stone and the catalyst. And people like myself have already been removed twice from Facebook. I've already had to tone down my message and how I deliver it. So I'm kind of stuck in the same paradigm where, like, dude, the day that I saw INFOWARS go down, the day that I woke up and I read the headlines, I was like, holy shit, I'm next. I was just waiting for it. Like, here it comes. And then people like Mark Dice, people like Paul Joseph Watson, people like, and where does it stop? And like I said, one of the things that I think of is the fact that they could easily just purge pages and say that they did it because they've been inactive since 2016, whether it's true or not. But what I also find funny, though, and I've said this before, if Alex Jones is so dangerous, then what are the people on social media using their platform to normalize pedophilia that actually affects children? I mean, we live in a society where it is perfectly okay for people to indoctrinate kids and at 3-4 years old try to have them figure out their sexuality, which is psychologically is damaging. So, I mean, what is next for you guys, man? Like, I know you guys, I talked to Darren McBreen today, and he was telling me that people were actually trying to attack the website itself.
Well, let me try to address both of those things. First of all, as far as what's next, personally, I can't give you a solid answer right now because I'm still trying to figure it out in my head what we do next, because at least me personally, I want my next move here with INFOWARS and with the War Room to be concrete and solid. To put this in another phrase, I don't want to go on to the next YouTube only to be erased tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so our next move needs to be very highly calculated, and we've already done some of the calculations. We're just waiting to pull the next triggers. But we can always, at least for now, I mean, who knows it at this point, but for now, you can find all of our live content at Infowars.com/show. That's the best place to find all of our live content right now. That's our own platform. And then at Infowars.com, there's a red link that has on demand, and that's where you can find all of our full archives. So we're just going to straight proprietary our own website and then our own app, the Infowars official app, which was #1 trending in the free downloads. The app stores cut that out and erased us from that because, again, we just win. We just keep winning the championship year after year, and then they just say, oh, no, it doesn't count, and they take us off the podium and give it to the loser. Whatever. So that's what's next, and I think we'll have a better idea maybe next week as far as what we do next because we're still working on some of those things.
Yeah.
But let me get to what you're talking about with the pedophilia stuff, because that's an issue that, honestly, unless you're really well versed in it, it's tough to kind of scratch the surface with the whole pedophilia thing, and to the average audience listener, unless they're very well researched on just how deep this goes. I almost don't even want to talk about it because unless you really get into it, you don't understand. But the perfect example is with James Gunn sending out all this crap on social media, Twitter, and other blogs or whatever he did, where he's dreaming about, well, I guess I'm on your show. It's a little more age-appropriate audience, where he's dreaming about monkeys jacking off, masturbating, and ejaculating onto children. I mean, that's just one example of James Gunn's fantasies, and yet you have Hollywood and liberals getting hundreds of thousands of tweets on a petition to get this guy back at Disney. You have the guy from Harvard. He was pictured in the Mickey Mouse Club hat who was running like anti-child sex trafficking stuff for Harvard. He gets caught. He's a major pedophile. You have Mayor de Blasio of New York City's biggest staffer, biggest support guy in his staff, the next John Podesta of the Democrat Party. He gets caught being a huge pedophile. And so there's no big outrage about that. There's no trying to shut them down. And there's other instances, but again, I don't want to go too far into it because you really have to be well researched to understand exactly what it is. But on the surface, here's what you're talking about. There's all of these blatant double standards. Just all you have to do is look at society as a whole, and you see all the blatant double standards. We've already talked about a couple of them. Oh, yeah, social media is against hate speech. Really? Look at all the anti-white rhetoric that comes out that you don't seem to care about. They get hired onto the New York Times. Look at all the people that want to normalize pedophilia, whether it's at Salon, whether it's at Disney, whether it's all these other places. Oh, so you can normalize that, pedophilia, taking advantage of innocent children. And by the way, with this open border policy, I think it's 80% of the women that come across the border illegally get raped. If they're young women, their mothers and fathers send them across the borders with emergency contraceptives and condoms because they know they're going to get raped. Oh, but that's not an issue. What's the issue? Oh, Alex Jones exists. Or, oh my gosh, Trump tweeted something. Or Trump wants to follow the law. So the average person sees these double standards, and they've been going on for so long. That's why InfoWars audience is so huge. That's why Outlaw Morgan goes live from his kitchen or wherever it is when you started, and he gets millions of people because everyone's seen the double standards for decades, but they've never had anyone actually go live, break them down, shout at their top of their lungs about freedom and about the double standards. Now we have the platforms to do it because we're creating them ourselves. And so now the establishment, which has created this society that's so backwards, so convoluted, so twisted, so corrupted, that thrives off of it, now that you have people with the brains and the creativity and the platforms to call it out, now that they're doing that, what are the social media giants saying? What is the pedophile terrorist left saying? Sorry, you're not allowed to call out the double standards in society. Sorry, we don't want people taking the red pill. Sorry, we don't like an informed public. We're just going to have to erase you. And that's the point we're at right now.
That's scary, dude. And that's you're right. It's like a 1984, George O scenario that's happening right now is being played out. I mean, they're just going to start erasing people. Like, it's funny how fast it works. And what's crazy is just watching how they've all coordinated together. So that means that the heads of these companies had to actually have a conversation about this prior to this And I'm wondering if they contacted Twitter as well, because if I remember correctly, this all happened within like a 6 to 12 hour span from one another, did it not? Like it happened fairly quick.
Oh yeah, it all happened in a 24, I mean, probably 48-hour time span where we just got erased off everything. I mean, everything. It's amazing that Twitter is the last place that we're allowed to go here. But
you know what though? Let me say this though. That is actually a badge of honor for Twitter. You know what I mean? Like that might actually.
And I'm not expecting it to last much longer.
Yeah.
But we'll see. At least for now, Jack Dorsey's made the right decision. But just to go back to what you said about, it's obvious that all of these companies had to conspire together. Well, they obviously did. But here's the tricky part about it. Most people would have the assumption that this is just something they decided to do within the last week. No, they have been working on this with the Democrats for 4 years.
Yeah.
The Democrats and Mark Zuckerberg and all the people in Silicon Valley, the tech left, they have been working together and colluding for 4 years, spearheaded by Obama. For 4 years, they have been colluding to do this exact thing. Here's the difference. Hillary Clinton did not get elected. They were planning on allowing Hillary Clinton to write it into law, and they were going to have a different reveal of the censorship, and they were going to give the Chinese total control of the internet, give the Chinese total control of these social media giants. When Trump won, all of a sudden their plan went haywire, and they didn't have Hillary Clinton in the office to pull this off. So now they're actually kind of looking at each other like, oh, do we really want to break the law here? Do we really want to face these antitrust suits? And so they were kind of shaking, like not really knowing what to do with Trump in there and Brad Parscale. So they're all kind of just like, do we really want to break the law? Do we really want to come out against free speech? Let's see what happens. And so they kind of let it go. And then their blue wave died. The Democrats got exposed for rigging the election. The Democrats got exposed for colluding with Russia. The Democrats now run on more taxes. They run against free speech. And so it's all coming out, and we've kicked their ass so badly, now they've retreated, and they're like, all right, we have to go forward. We have to censor these people. We have no choice at this point, and they're going to get hit with the antitrust lawsuit. But it's very important for people to understand this. They have been planning this for 4 years. They have been planning this for 4 years. They thought they had the Supreme Court, too. That's another thing. They thought they were going to have Hillary Clinton appoint the next Supreme Court justice. That's why they killed Justice Scalia, so that they could have Hillary Clinton and the Supreme Court justice basically write us out of the world via the law and the Supreme Court. Trump won, we won, and that's why everything is falling apart. Their whole plan is falling apart. Their whole plan is being exposed, and it's a house of cards coming down on top of them.
Yeah, and this is the timing is so ironic, right? The timing is seriously ironic. How far are we out from midterms? So, and you nailed it, the blue wave. So it's like, and I don't think this is where it's going to stop, bro. I mean, you know, like InfoWars is up here. Little guys like me are down here, but they're going to come down the ladder, and they're basically just going to start chopping heads off. Anybody who can actually, you know, they probably think that even like person like myself, which is a nobody really, is a Russian bot and help sway the election towards Trump. Which I ain't gonna lie, dude. I spent that entire election campaigning season, like I spent it going after Hillary's jugular, and I was propping up Trump as much as I could. And it wasn't so much about making sure that Trump won. It was making sure that Hillary stopped. And the only person that I really saw in the initial stages of it that had any potential in my mind of winning was Trump. And then his policy started to follow, and I was like, damn, he's on point. And I mean, look at where we are as a country right now. You know what I mean? Like as a country, I went live from a bar in Orlando, Florida. And I was discussing these topics with some Bernie supporters that were in there, and they actually said live on my YouTube live. They actually said it verbatim that the country's doing extremely well under the Trump administration, and that it's doing better than it was under the Obama administration. So I bought them shots. So see, we can actually have civil conversations, and that's getting off topic. Back to this, you know, I hear you saying something about the antitrust suit. Is that something that might be in the works? Is that the tone that I'm hearing?
Well, I can tell you privately, I'm not saying we'll speak privately. I'm saying privately, there are lawsuits being considered. Many are already in the works. And then I can tell you that President Trump and some of the Republicans and members of Trump's cabinet are also looking into this very tight. And we're kind of at a point right now where the people that know what's going on are giving these people some slack just to see how far they'll go. And they know all this is going on, okay? Just let's be very clear. They know all this is going on. Trump knows who Obama really is. And so he's got all the aces up his sleeve. He's got 500 aces up his sleeve, and he just waits to play them when the time is right. So they're going to see lawsuits if they don't back down. And I don't think they're going to back down. I don't think they have a choice at this point. I mean, let's be perfectly honest here. The criminal behavior behind the Obama administration, behind the Clinton Foundation, it doesn't stop there, but the criminal behavior behind them that was exposed in the WikiLeaks and other such reports, Judicial Watch, Project Veritas, it's all out there. They cannot put the cat back in the bag. They're going down. They are in the fight for their lives. Most of these people know if there's ever a real court of law, if there's ever a real judge, if there's ever a real case against them, most of these people are looking at true charges of treason. I mean, you're talking about selling out nuclear secrets to the Chinese like the Clintons did. That's what Apple did when they gave China the keys to the kingdom here, that 50% of Americans use Apple products, if not more. So they know what's going on. They're just seeing how far they're willing to push it. And I don't even know if they have a choice but to keep pushing this, because essentially it's a death battle right now, and that's where we're at. And I just want to thank you for having me on, Outlaw Morgan. I want to thank your audience for tuning in today. And, I was saying this the other day when I was live in Portland and Berkeley, where I'm going around and I'm finding other people that have their own independent channels. And I'm like, hey, plug your channel. Tell people where to find your content. We're in this together. I think it's sad that for all the people that go on Fox News, many of which I think are great people, I think it's sad that there's only 3 or 4 people, a handful of people that are even standing up for free speech, standing up for INFOWARS there. You can insult me all day long and say I'm crazy. At least say that I have the right to free speech, but they won't do it. So it's now up to alternative media to stick together here and to come together and realize that we have more power than the television news. We elected Donald Trump. If you flash back 4 years, 3 years, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, New York, all of them. Nobody said Trump could win. None of them said Trump could win. You know who had Trump's back? We did. We have the power now. It's time for us to realize it. And Facebook and YouTube and the Democrats have realized it. That's why they're trying to pull the plug.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. And like I said, regardless of how, and I keep saying this, regardless of whether anybody likes Alex Jones as a person, likes his content, likes the show, etc., you're a fan, not a fan, you're a fanatic, whatever, you're left, right, Democrat, whatever. This is actually very important, because this is about the freedom of speech in a nutshell, is the way that I see it. It's not about one's message, it's about one's right to have a message. And what we're actually witnessing right now is the internet is actually becoming the government. I mean, that sounds insane, right? But if you actually think about it,
no. These companies are bigger than the government now.
Yeah,
they have more power than the government. The NSA gets its information essentially from these sources, from Google, from Apple, from Verizon, from these people. It got signed off. You can check the documents. That's where they get their intel now. And then the NSA becomes this huge database that the CIA uses the Vault 7 technology to look at keywords and different stuff that they find quote unquote interesting to decide who they're going to focus on. But this is all out there, and I just think that the key for us now is to just not be intimidated out of free speech, not back down, not let them discourage us, but to get more fired up, to get more active, to get more engaged, and I think that's the proper response. Now, I know you've got a huge audience, and I know that your audience is active and engaged, and so I would just encourage them to share the links to the alternative people that you like to get your news from. Tell your friends and family, because most of these people maybe have never heard of Outlaw Morgan. They've never heard of InfoWars. And if you tell them, hey, have you heard that they're trying to censor free speech? They're, oh, so yeah, right. Free speech in America is solid as a rock. You say, oh, no, they're actually doing it. Look, they have erased Alex Jones essentially off the internet. Really? Why would they do that? Well, I don't know. I mean, he must be reporting something right, and that's what the key is. We are tomorrow's news today. They hate it. They want to control the narrative. They want to be able to control the news cycle. They can't do it if Alex Jones exists, and so they have to shut us down, and that's what it's come down to. Now,
I think
tomorrow,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
live every day here. I'm live every day from 3 to 6 Central here at the War Room at Infowars.com/show. And I'm having a roundtable show tomorrow with all different people, social media personalities, whatever. I'm having them all on tomorrow. And we're going to have a huge roundtable discussion tomorrow for 3 hours to talk about the attacks on free speech, talk about what it means, and then to talk about what we do moving forward. And it's just, like I said, The main battle now is to not be intimidated. The main battle now is to not be discouraged. If we keep ramming our head against their censorship, they will be broken down. They're the ones that broke the law. They're the ones that are colluding. They're the ones that sold out nuclear seekers to China. They're the ones that sold uranium to Russia. It's all them. It's all the Democrat Party. That's why they're trying to censor free speech. And these are historical times, man. I mean, here we are, brothers in arms for the truth, living in the most important times in human history, probably.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. I mean, man, I was just saying on a live today, I remember the first time I popped on Facebook, I could literally say whatever I wanted to say, however I wanted to deliver it in the most natural, raw essence form, and it flew. You know what I mean? And it was not until the whole fake news thing came about that all of a sudden the censorship started to be created. It started to be worked on. They started to like guide it. Next thing you know, pages are coming down, content's coming down. You can't say this word. You can't say that word. You can't critique this ethnicity or this religion or this what the third. And you can't. It's like you can't even have a voice of opposition towards anything. Like we're literally watching what I think we're actually seeing
exactly.
Here. We're watching a college safe space come onto line, and now everything's a cry closet. So it's like dude, I literally go live nowadays, and I feel like there's like a little lawyer in the back of my head that's like, don't say that, outlaw, don't do it that way, outlaw. Oh my god, you just lost your page, bro. You know what I mean?
Have you ever worked for a lawyer?
No, I've worked with the lawyer,
dude,
but not for a lawyer.
I've worked for attorneys. I have a few that I'm in touch with all the time. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing though, because it helps you say things in the right way to avoid the lawsuits.
Right.
But let me give you one example here.
Sure.
Before we conclude here, if you go back 5 years, Alex Jones had an event at the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination in Dallas. Now, what did they do? They refused to let Alex Jones have free speech that day, and they put him and his ralliers, his patriots, in a box, a free speech box, where their first free speech was actually banned. Now, what was Alex Jones banned for saying? Well, he told you the FBI covered up the JFK assassination. The FBI knew there were multiple shooters, and they were behind the whole thing, and the government knew it. But, he's not allowed to have that free speech. He's outlandish. He's dangerous. Go put him in a censored box. Flash the clocks 4 years, what comes out? Donald Trump declassifies the JFK papers, and everything Alex Jones said was true.
Yeah. Wow.
There's the key. That's why they censor Alex Jones. That's why they censor INFOWARS. We tell you the truth. They don't want you to get the truth except when they want you to hear it.
Right. Well, another thing too, man. Before I let you go, is like I said this too. Now there's hundreds of millions of people on YouTube, and a buddy of mine brought up a really solid point. When YouTube first came around, it was full of people who were like doing, conspiracy theory type stuff. Now they claim that's not why Alex Jones has been removed. That it was hate speech, etc., bullying or whatever, which I've pretty much proved. Listen, let me just because I don't know if you know this story, so let me just tell you a quick story before you go. I'm not to switch gears, but this is kind of relevant to this whole scenario. When my page was actually taken down the second time on Facebook, there was a page, and I know Occupy Democrats. There's a page called Occupy Democrats. They had the exact same video that I shared on my page, on their page. My page was, I got the video taken down instantly. My page was pretty much unpublished instantly. So what I did was I have a backup page. So I'm using my backup page to talk to the people that still follow the backup page. I send everybody over to Occupy Democrats, dude, to report the exact same video that my page came down for. And so I send everybody over there. There's thousands of people reporting the video on Occupy Democrats, thousands. And with like 5 days later, that video's still up, and everybody's sending me screenshots of what happened, the response they got from Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. And the video's still up. So I did a live on my backup page talking about how I proved that the policies, the guidelines, and the standards are no longer universal, and that they're selective. And that's what I was saying in the beginning of the program here, is that they're selective. They go after the people they want to go after. They condemn the ones they want to condemn. They ban the ones they want to ban, and they unpublish the ones they want to unpublish. And you're bad. You're conservative. You're a Trump supporter. Oh my God, too much free thinking. But so a couple of days after that video was up, the live, and people were still reporting it, this entire time I was talking to an employee of Facebook, telling him what I was doing, because I've developed somewhat of a repertoire with this person. And so I'm sure Facebook knows what was going on. The funniest thing, and this is the kicker, The day that they finally removed the video from Occupy Democrats, they give me my page back at the same time. But
that's the amazing thing. See, but exactly, you proved it in real time that it's not about the content, it's about the person, it's about the individual. Mm-hmm. Just like with Alex Jones, where we played a video that was all over the internet, ran all over mainstream TV of some child acting like an insolent, immature child, and we just show the video, and then they say Alex Jones attacks children, and we get banned for it. So exactly, you just prove in real time that this isn't about hate speech. This is about political speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because like, think about it. If I do a live video and I'm telling everybody, hey, Occupy Democrats has the exact same video that I got taken down for. Let's see how many people does it take to report some content to have it removed? Because if these guidelines, policies, and standards are truly universal, it shouldn't take many, correct? So instead of like 13 people going over, because here's the thing, the employee for Facebook tells me that right now they don't have an automated system yet. They're working on an AI system. And when that happens, supposedly it's just going to be universal and it's not going to be biased at all.
Yeah, that's just their excuse.
Yeah.
They'll build the algorithms it's the same crap that they're doing now. They'll just blame the AI.
Yeah, the AI would be like, I love liberals. But I mean, so how, I was curious to find out if this is universal, if this policy guideline and standard, if my page comes down for it and I get banned for this content, then anybody should be able to, I mean, the video was shared by Good Morning America. It was shared by the Today Show and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, all right. So if mainstream media is sharing this and the video you're talking about, I know exactly what video you're talking about. I got banned for that for 30 days. But the funny thing is also mainstream media was talking about that exact same video of the bratty kid where he gave him a good mush and knocked him to the ground and the kid started crying. I saw it. So like that got me banned for 30 days and it got you guys hit too. So if it's universal, all I wanted to do was I just wanted to set out to prove it. And we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people reporting it. 5-6 days later, it's still up. You know what I mean? Then I did a follow-up live saying I've proved that it's not universal. And 2 days from that, the video came down off of Occupy Democrats and I was giving my page back.
Oh my gosh, but don't you get it? Outlaw Morgan isn't LeBron James. Outlaw Morgan isn't John Legend. Yeah. You know, Outlaw Morgan isn't Leonardo DiCaprio, who we have totally control over, and we know he's only going to give you the message that the establishment wants, and then the brainwashed minions will listen to LeBron and Leo and go do whatever they say. But wait a second, who's this Outlaw Morgan guy with millions of fans that are actually engaged and active, and when he gives a directive, they actually engage? We can't have this. We need our nitwits like Justin Bieber and Chrissy Teigen to control the population. We need the nitwits that play with balls for a living like LeBron James to control the population. We need to keep them dumb down like LeBron. Wait, Outlaw Morgan, this guy's actually influencing people. This guy's actually putting out directives and getting things accomplished. Shut him down. We can't have Outlaw Morgan. He's not in the control system. Give me more Bieber. Give me more LeBron James. We need the dumbest people in the world trying to tell the people what to do. We can't have Outlaw Morgan. Shut him down. Get Bieber in here. Come on, Bieber. Tell him something stupid. Come on, LeBron. Tell him to vote Hillary. Tell him that everyone's racist. Come on. Don't listen to Outlaw Morgan. He doesn't exist. So that's what we deal with now.
Do you feel better? But you're absolutely, that's 100% correct. Load the Disney Channel. Put your kids in front of it. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Ariana Grande is marrying some nitwit from Saturday Night Live. And here's the craziest thing about it. So that's like the new thing, because Kanye West and Kim Kardashian West have decided that, you know what, we're not going to go full on Trump hate. So they won't. So now they're going to try to deplatform them as the big couple in America. Beyonce and Jay-Z are so unpopular now they can't even sell out a concert. So now they're going to bring you Ariana Grande and what's the guy's name? Pete Sanchez or something from Saturday Night Live. Dude, you listen to these two people talk in candid interviews, a combined IQ of less than a ham sandwich. These are the dumbest people you could find in Hollywood, Ariana Grande and Pete No Name from SNL. And that's going to be the new it couple. The two dumbest people on earth are going to be the new it couple that everyone listens to because they're cool and they're on Instagram and they're on Snapchat and they're on TV. Oh, I wish I was like them, even though Ariana Grande said she wished her fans died. And then they did. I mean, and it's just crazy. This This is who they give you as a hero. Ariana Grande, who has the IQ of 10.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that Outlaw Morgan has a high IQ. He's funny, he's entertaining, and he's effective, and he's more popular than these people organically. So you aren't allowed to exist. Alex isn't allowed to exist. And this is supposedly America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where our First Amendment right is free speech. And if this doesn't show people how far this country has come from its original intention, I don't know what will. But I think people are waking up, Outlaw, and I think that this is truly a turning point for America to have a rejuvenation. The question is, do we commit and follow through and defeat these people, or do we back down and become intimidated or comfortable again and allow them another victory?
Right. Well, I mean, listen, for the little guys out there, man, that don't have deep pockets, that can't afford lawyers for lawsuits and class actions and things like that, man, it's really a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like, I get that right now, man, a lot of people are probably trying to ignore what you guys are going through, and they're trying to stay away from it, and they're like, oh my God, well, they're not going to take me down with you. You know what I mean? But dude, I don't have that. Even if let's say I'm not a fan, right, of the show, I still think that you deserve to have a show. I still think you deserve to have a voice. I still think you deserve to have a platform. I didn't see you guys chopping heads off with chainsaws like the Mexican cartel videos I've seen. I haven't seen you guys drag kids into
or like the CNN former CNN Kathy Griffin. And by the way, when we talk trash on CNN or MSNBC, we play the clips. We actually play their clips and respond to their clips. And I guarantee you can't find any clips of us saying they have to be shut down and deplatformed. We just prove to you how fake they are in real time. That's another reason why they hate us. But they don't do that about us. They never play the clips from us. Yeah, they just make up things and assume their audience is gullible enough to believe it.
I saw that. I saw something recently here where Stephen Colbert, whatever his name was saying that you guys were banned for promoting race wars. And I was like, whoa, slow down, dude. I've never heard, I've caught a few shows here and there, and I've never heard anybody promoting a race war. You know what I mean? Like, what in the hell is this jackass talking about? But what it also boils down to, dude, is you guys have nut sacks. Can we just get real for a minute? You guys have nut sacks, right? So, like, you guys aren't offended by everything. You guys don't sit in the same you're not sitting at the same table with these people, dude. You know what I mean? So these guys are, oh my God, that's offensive. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Are you vegan? I'm vegan. I drive a Prius, blah, blah, blah. I like gay people. But you know, it's like, you're not sitting at the same table with these people, man. So that's the problem. That's the problem in a nutshell. I'm not a lefty. I don't promote transgenderisms and all that stuff. So therefore I don't trend in tabs and shit like that. And I mean, and dude, you know, again, it's the old saying goes, dude, it's not the message, it's to have the right to the message, dude. And that's where I stand. So that's why I'll do whatever I can to help you guys continue the fight. You know what I mean? I'll do what I can to help get the message out there. You're more than welcome to if you ever want to just come on here and drink beer and shoot shit from the house, you can do that too. I don't care. You know what I mean? But it's happened to me, and then I watched it happen on a much bigger level to you guys. So it's like, to watch it that kind of way is like, all right, so we can never be that, right? That's basically what you're telling America. We can never grow to a platform like this where it's, you know, big network style, multimedia company, employees, et cetera, with a message that says we like Donald Trump. And who cares if you question shit? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, why is that illegal? Is it illegal to say false flag? I didn't get the memo. Is that so somebody says false flag and we got to get rid of them? You know, is that what it's boiling down to now? Like, this is bullshit. Is what it is. Frankly, there's no other way to say it other than this is absolute bullshit.
Well, let me just close out by saying this, you know, because this is a huge issue, which is a larger issue. I mean, it really, what it all comes down to is that the Chinese communists that have bought out most of our debt, most of our entertainment, most of our government now too, are trying to take over America, quite literally. We are at a point right now in this country where there has been an agenda afoot for decades to bring America to its knees. Now, that's one agenda. Worldwide, there's an anti-human agenda, which is why they have to spread all the crap that's anti-human. You know, girls will be boys, boys will be girls, you know, no sexes, 5,000 genders, all this crap, this dehuman crap, where America was always the most pro-human place. And they said, no, we had slavery. No, we ended slavery, jackass. Yep. Oh, yeah, well, women couldn't even vote here originally. Oh, yeah, because we gave women the right to vote. We spurred those things worldwide, but they don't even understand that. So people just need to understand the attack against the First Amendment and the attack against the free speech is a larger attack on America mostly spearheaded by China now, to bring America down so that eventually we can have one world government run by the Chinese communists. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next 10 years. I'm saying that's the plan at foot that's been going on for decades. And if you sit here and you scratch your head, why isn't this the America that I used to know and love? What happened to the America I grew up in? Because our politicians have sold this country down the drain, and the globalist whose technology and food and drink and everything that has been poisoning us for decades is slowly killing us. So they have to create an unhuman world, a dehuman world, so that when everyone's dying, you don't even care because you've been taught to hate humanity. Okay, but if America exists, we're never going to hate humanity. We're always going to stand up for humanity. We're always going to stand up for God. And that's why they have to end free speech here and end America. So that's the overall picture. It's kind of a mundane breakdown, but that's what we're dealing with. And now the battle is for free speech. And I salute you, Outlaw Morgan, not only for executing your right to free speech, but for standing for free speech and having me on today to talk about this and to talk about how it's not about Alex Jones, it's not about INFOWARS, it's about free speech. And if you don't stand up for Alex Jones when he's censored, then nobody's going to stand up for you when you're censored. And that is the story that everybody needs to understand.
Well, you know, it's like the old saying goes, first they came for the socialists, but I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't care. Remember? Like that's the old saying goes, like it's the same thing. First they came for Alex Jones, but I wasn't a nutty conspiracy theorist, one of those whack job dudes that watch that shit all day at their mama's basement, so I didn't care. Bullshit. This is going to come full circle. Trust me when I tell you. I even told somebody, I was telling people on a live feed earlier on Facebook, this is how simple this is. All right. I wasn't always a Republican. I wasn't always a Trump supporting Republican conservative. I was actually a dude that voted for Obama his first term. Not ashamed to admit it. Let me tell you why I'm willing to admit it. Because basically I grew. I got older. I started to see the world from a different set of eyes. My politics changed. My theories changed. My values, my morals, my character, everything shifted. The one constant you've got in life is that everything is subject to change. So today, you might be a rock-slinging Antifa member. And then 2 years from now, you might have an epiphany, or maybe even sooner. You might have an epiphany within 6 months, maybe a year. Nobody knows when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And at some point, you're actually going to wake up and realize you were a fucking dumbass. You were a dumbass who thought socialism was cool and you wanted to implement communism into America. You're going to look at yourself 2-3 years from now and be like, I was a fucking stark raving idiot. And now you're going to look at world from a different set of eyes. And then maybe when you actually have that final awakening, that epiphany, that moment of clarity, where you start to see things for what it is, and you have a family, you have a wife, now you understand why capitalism is so great, because capitalism actually provides you a platform to become a self-made millionaire. Socialism definitely doesn't unless you're running with the elite. But at that point, will it be too late for you to actually voice who you are? Will it be too late to voice what you support? Will it be too late to voice where you stand and the eyes that you see the world from? Or will you not be able to say that at all? That's why this is so important to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's why this is so important to me. It doesn't matter what the man said. It just matters that he has the right to say it.
The left tries to make this out like we're some sort of, Luddite, tribalist, Cro-Magnums here or something. And it's like, no, you don't understand. We're not tribalists. We're pro-freedom. We're pro-America. And if you don't understand why it's important for America to exist in the world, you just don't understand the world. You don't understand geopolitics, and you don't understand history. So, but this is this typical standard from the left: mischaracterize, dehumanize, and just spread lies and disinformation about whoever it is they want to, so that they can eventually have their faux victory. And that's all it is. They can't win in a fair victory. They can't win in a debate. They can't win in a level playing field. So they have to rig everything, just like they rig elections. They rig the platforms. They rig everything. And the age of the left, which has been working with the right, let's be fair, Trump has changed the game, but for all these years, the left and the right, Republicans, Democrats, working together in lockstep to destroy America. The game's over, okay? We got Trump in. Your little game is over. We show up to support Trump 15,000 strong anytime he gives a speech, and you call us all Russian bots. Your game is over. We're going to keep having victories. Now you're just seeing all the desperate moves that they're pulling to try to stop us from having victories, deplatforming us, lying about Trump. So this is all the desperation right now of the deep state that has been corrupting this country for decades, showing itself to try to stop President Trump from saving America. That's where we're at, and it's up to everybody out there that can hear this to put that truth out there. Otherwise, nobody's going to hear it. That's why it's important for us to put that truth out there and to truly be the last remnants of the land of the free and the home of the brave, so that we can save this, so that our future ancestors can also enjoy freedom and prosperity.
That's awesome. So listen, I know you got a life. I appreciate that. Like, I know you were live for a long time before you came on with me. So real quick before I let you run and let you get back to doing whatever it is that Owen Schroyer does when he's not on the internet fighting tyranny. What is it? Let's knock it out one more time. To find InfoWars at this point, the best way to locate you, your show, the show of others out there, and get the links out there and stuff one more time.
So we are in the middle of replatforming ourselves and finding out where we can go to be as widespread as we were before this outright censorship. So as far as the future is concerned, stay tuned. But as far as the present is concerned, Infowars.com/show is where you can always go to find all of our live coverage. Infowars.com/show. Alex Jones is live there. David Knight is live there. I'm live there with Roger Stone. Mike Adams is live there. It's all at Infowars.com/show. If you want the archives of our full videos, you go to Infowars.com and then click on the red link that says On Demand. And if you want Infowars on the go, you pick up your smartphone device or whatever you have and download the official InfoWars app. Now, they try to make it impossible to find now, okay? So you have to actually search for it, but we're one of the top apps out there. Just download the new InfoWars official app. So that's where we are now. That's where we will always be. That's our own platform. So unless they go ramp up the censorship to the next level, we should always be available there. And again, thank you for having me on. InfoWarsStore.com is how you can support us. This is my favorite T-shirt from InfoWarsStore.com. So that's how we're possible. We're totally independent. We love our audience. We love people like Outlaw Morgan that support us and give us a platform as well. So again, Infowars.com/show, the official InfoWars app. That's where you can always find us, and stay tuned there to figure out where we're going to go in the future to make sure we have the same reach that we had prior to the outright censorship.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, man. Again, like I said, you're always welcome to come back, and if it's just to shoot the shit, drinking beers from the apartment, it doesn't matter to me. You're always welcome to hop on here, man. I like the way you blow gaskets at that you peaked at that one point. You climax, as they call it. So take care, Owen, and pleasure to talk to you, brother.
All right, Outlaw. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
I'm live on Saturday afternoon because I live on this planet with the rest of you, and my fate is your fate. Our destinies are tied together. I've been studying politics for 30 years. I've been on air for 22. I've been syndicated for 20. And I spend my life studying real documents, real legislation, real political movements. And I see how uninformed the public is when it comes to serious issues. It hurts my heart. Now, the globalists and a lot of parasitic elites, they're opportunistic. They look at a dumbed-down population, busy watching TV and football and enjoying all the great bounties of our society, and they see you asleep at the switch, and they think, hey, those are people we can exploit. Everything I've ever done is to fight illegal wars and tyranny. That's why I stood up against the Clintons and Bush and Obama. But when you talk about President Trump and you look at what he's done, pulling us out of the unconstitutional global government TPP that both the left and right were against, moving to reestablish Glass-Steagall, moving to cut taxes on poor people, signing executive orders to start blocking the forced mandate of Obamacare and $5,000 a year fines on citizens the media told us didn't exist. Defending our borders, that's what a sovereign country has. Going after ISIS and Al-Qaeda that Obama and Hillary helped empower in the Middle East and Africa. Everything he's doing is so wholesome. Trump's doing everything he said he'd do, running over the top of people like Paul Ryan and others who fight him every step of the way and undermine him with leaks. And they're coming from Paul Ryan, who gets access to everything Trump's doing because he's like almost the co-president. He has more power, obviously, than Pence does. Speaker of the House is powerful. Probably the third most powerful person in the U.S. government, maybe the second. And so Trump is completely surrounded. George Soros, go look it up, financed Paul Ryan, all the top Republicans. Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Mitch McConnell. It's horrible. And Trump is just surrounded by all these enemies. But here's the big news. I'll give you a little bit of history. The big news is that the State Department had 1,000 people resign 2 weeks ago. Great, get the hell out. But hundreds of others have signed letters attacking Trump, only implementing a law that's been on the books since the 1970s. And before that, it's even in the Constitution. The president can block whoever he wants that isn't a citizen. You get rights here because you pay taxes and you're born here or you came here legally. That's what it is. Globalism attacks that fundamental. But the State Department is in open rebellion against Trump and is saying, yes, we think Trump's with the Russians, and we think Le Pen's with the Russians, and any other nationalist movement in Europe's with the Russians, and we're going to fight to keep Le Pen from getting elected. Our government getting involved to stop a nationalist patriot that wants to stop the Islamic invasion. And I'm reading their arrogant statements in the face of the president. So the American people have had their rebellion against the globalists and our hijacked federal government. But the federal government's sitting there going, we don't care what you do. We've got the big banks, we've got Bloomberg, we've got Goldman Sachs openly trying to kill the economy, openly trying to stop tax cuts for poor people. And the State Department is bad-mouthing the president, saying we'll do whatever we want when it is in the executive branch and he could fire every one of them tomorrow if he wanted to. But Trump understands they want him to fire all of them so they can say, look, he shut the government down. So he's caught trying with a federal government with millions of employees. Some are patriots, some are bad, some are just wanting the paycheck, trying to cut taxes, trying to stabilize things, and he's totally surrounded. Everything Trump's doing is trying to empower the people. And he's got the entire Republican establishment against him. He's got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the mega banks, the Vatican, the communist Chinese, the Islamicists, all against him. And you sit there and you claim you're anti-establishment when the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the kitchen sink is against Trump because he's so damn real. Russia started pulling out of globalism 18 years ago, the first country to do it in modern time. So when they say it's a Russian plot, no, the Russians were the example first. But it's Italy just said no to EU expansion. They wanted to march an EU army in and say their government had no authority. The EU said to Italy a month ago, we want you to pass a law that you no longer have a military and we're over your country and can appoint your president. We want you to sign sovereignty over. And the Italian government people said, what? Hell no, even though their president was pushing it. This isn't like, hooray, Italy or America or England. We're ending our countries as we know it. Forget left and right. They appointed a president in Italy and in Greece who was a deputy head of Goldman Sachs. And then I love the left. Oh yeah, he appointed 3 Goldman Sachs. Yeah, tens of thousands of employees, mergers and acquisition, key people like Bannon that were in it and went public against it 20 years ago. And Mnuchin's been anti-New World Order and one-sided deals against America. You just don't know. Goldman Sachs wants world government. Goldman Sachs wants to take your guns. Goldman Sachs wants open borders. Goldman Sachs is the sworn enemy of Donald Trump and gave 100% of their presidential money to Hillary Rodham Clinton. Never in history have we had the corrupt power structure more against somebody. And see, Trump knows they're trying to break our will and our confidence. He knows he's surrounded. He knows he spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get into office. He knows that he's totally committed. He knows he's got to look strong and work with world leaders and got to get the economy defibrillated and jump-started because it's in cardiac arrest. And he's looking confident and trying to move forward. He needed Priebus and others, so they threatened to shut the whole government down if he didn't kind of let them in. And we'll work with you, sir. He knew. He knew when he met with Romney, all that crap. He was feeling them out, getting intel. So he knows what he's doing, but just understand what he's doing. He is sitting there like the ultimate fighter pilot with 50 missiles being launched at him, and every missile's missing him. And he's just delivering, dropping bombs on the globalists, unlocking our chains. It's so biblical, I can't believe it. I'd love to attack the president. I'd love to be the outsider. People say, oh, you know, you were always anti-establishment, now you're for it. Because we never had a real president in modern times that really gets the score and is trying to restore the republic to where you have the power, not the globalist. There's never been a more epic time. This is so incredible. When he told you we're going to unlock the secrets of disease and cure it. Folks, they've got treatments that are 99% for cancer. Hell, they're invoking the cancer. It's been declassified. They're putting it in the vaccines. Trump wants to restrict the vaccines. He knows they're deadly. That's another thing he's moving to do. He is not out to get you. He's not perfect, but he's pro-human. He's not satanic. The good news is, no matter what they do to Trump, or no matter what they do to me, The human desire for liberty and the fact that a program is being set up to phase out humans, bring in robots, make us obsolete, and do all this is actually reactivating the human life force potential and the human drive to survive and excel, and it's happening now, and it is a magic time, and I am so honored to be here with all of you. We already succeeded. We already won. It already happened. The enemy already gotten beat. With their algorithms, they admit they can predict the future now with all these mass movements. They can see they're going to fail in the future. So now they're trying to convince you you lost so that you don't realize the victory you already have going forward. Because no matter what happens to Trump, this is only going to continue. You understand? This is the human destiny. This is the Great Awakening. This is asking God and providence back into our hearts. This is saying no to the culture of death, no to the New World Order. But Trump is completely surrounded, but he can't sit there and whine about it because he's got to look strong, which he is for everybody, and move forward and hope he can get you prosperity as quickly as possible. But I've never seen hundreds of publications a day saying the economy's going to implode, everything's going to be the end of the world because, of Trump, so they can blow the economies to blame him. They did the same thing starting 6-8 months ago in Brexit, 7 months ago. What was Brexit, 7 months ago, Buckley? Yeah. They did the same thing. They said, we're going to destroy your economy. They're so arrogant. They go, oh, you want your own country? You don't want to be under our control? We're going to destroy you and not let any of your bread be sold, or your sheep be sold, or your beef be sold, or your grain be sold, or your bottled water be sold to the EU. And anyone said, fine, go ahead and do that. We're going to accept all your stuff. All we're saying is Brussels isn't making all our decisions anymore. This is simple. Foreign mega banks set up the EU. It's unelected. Through trade deals like TPP previously, they got people roped into it. We were about to go under it, and America said no, and that's what's happening. But the globalists got to watch their ass now because they want the end of man to be here and their humet to be over. They want all about machines and digital and social engineering and control and manipulation. But the groups that I yelled at and said, what's your problem letting the New World Order do all this? What's your problem, FBI and CIA, going along with all this corruption? Why are you part of this? And they listened, actually, and were the key players in bringing down Hillary and the globalists and the pedophile rings in the last election. So again, New World Order, don't think that you're going to sit there and manipulate the warriors that make this country so strong and destroying themselves and their family. They now know about your plan to bring us all down, and they're now working overtime to defeat you and have a system that's pro-human. So you get ready for that, and know, if you want a war with humanity, I'm telling you, you can feel my spirit leaning up against yours, globalist. If you want a war, you better believe you got one, and my soul and my will and everything in my ancestors is against you. So you feel that, New World Order and George Soros, and I want everybody to pray with me that God strike you down politically and lay you low and show you for the scum you are.